Welcome to the GameChangher podcast. It's Nat and
Nix.
yes. So how are you feeling today?
A lot's been going on this past week, but I'm here and I'm excited. I'm looking forward to just sharing some things and just bringing you guys into what we're going through right now, some experiences that we're having, and just being able to provide some insight on things that you could do to just better balance when you get into that space, better balance yourself. But yeah, I'm here and I'm excited to be here.
Now, I'm so glad that you're smiling today because yesterday she was like smiling at first and then she got a phone call.
And then it just went completely like all the smile, everything was just like.
It was like, I just need you to, while she's getting makeup put on.
Yeah.
The makeup artist.
It wasn't a proud moment.
The makeup artist is trying to you trying to shift on your phone. Like when you're on the phone and you're trying to shift
She's
back.
working around me though. She was trying to be a trooper. I was just like, yeah, I could have waited to do that phone call until later. But you tell people that you're busy and you're doing something.
They just want to keep talking.
And they still want to, yeah.
They be like, okay, I know you're busy, but so let me say this real quick. And it's like, that is so disrespectful.
Right.
I wonder if I do that when I'm talking about people.
You probably do.
Okay, but real quick. That's how they do. And then it kind of goes on.
Yeah, so, it wasn't my finest moment, but anyway, I managed to turn it around.
You did.
And I did end up smiling at the end of the session.
You did.
Yeah.
My Nix was back.
Yes.
So, okay, today we're going to talk about health. And it's, there's different types of health, but there's, you have your brain health, you have your physical health, you have your mental health, you have your spiritual health. You have, it's all of these different types of health that you have. But, I really feel like I want to touch on even just our whole body health. It's like little things that we skip, you know what I'm saying? That can kind of that triggers over to many other things. What do you think about that? Because I feel like there's so many unhealthy people.
Yeah.
But it's like little things.
So when you're, and I'm realizing this because I transitioned into, being an entrepreneur and business for myself, how much we sometimes just forget the small things. And the small things could be not drinking enough water. So that's an area that I struggle with. I've never been big on water, I try to add lemon or whatever just to spice it up a little bit. But you don't realize how crucial water is. Water causes dehydration. It can actually.
Well, it doesn't cause dehydration.
It doesn't cause. Yeah, it prevents. But you can be dehydrated if you don't drink enough water. Your stress level can be impacted by lack of water. If you've got other health issues can be impacted. If you're taking medication and, you're not flushing out all of those things with drinking enough water and staying hydrated, you can actually have other side effects. Mm-hmm. So it's small things like that. And we talk about it. We hear people say, you're supposed to drink half your body weight in water. And somehow I'll go through sometimes a whole day and I'm realizing I only went to the bathroom once or twice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you realize, oh crap, I've only had 3 cups of water all day and that's not good.
Yeah.
So it's those little things that sometimes I feel like we just lose sight of because we're so busy running around doing stuff and we're taking care of things and we're talking to people and we're handling our business. Mm-hmm. But just taking the time and being intentional. And I know you have an app on your phone that reminds you, don't you?
Yes.
Reminds you to drink
that
water.
That thing, it seems like it go off every 5 minutes. It's you hear this water pouring noise.
Right.
I'll be in a meeting and people are like, what in the world? And then it'll tell you when they're eating, it makes this crunch noise. It makes me just feel like I'm hungry. But it does. I have to remind myself to drink water. And I can tell when I don't because my skin will just,
your skin.
change, just kind of shift on its own. And And so I'm trying to be more mindful. Like one thing I was telling my mom does not drink water. You know what I mean? Like
That's my dad.
I'm like, I asked her, I was like, do you drink water? I have not ever seen her just say, let me get some water. And so she was like, you know what, now that you mention it, she was like, I really don't. So now she's trying to be more mindful and drink water. Because, in the morning she'll have her coffee. And I was like, well, it has water in it.
It has water, it's based.
But it's,
Right.
But that doesn't qualify.
Right.
It's just water. But she did say, because as she's aging, she can notice the difference, like with crepey skin. So your skin can be like drier and stuff like that if you just don't have, kind of get that in your body. So I have to really be mindful. Now like for you, you're saying you got to have yours with lemon. Like I just need mine with like ice, a lot of ice. Like it's got to be like ice cold. Yeah, I don't want nothing in it. No lemon.
No lemon. Yeah, I need a little bit of twist just to give it a little bit of flavor because the water is so plain. And I've actually tried different things to just make it a little bit more flavorful. And so, it is what it is, but it's one of those things that you just have to be conscious of because you can literally like go days and days and just not realize how dehydrated you are.
Yep. One thing that's I know hard for especially like entrepreneurs is getting in like either healthcare, being able to have healthcare, afford healthcare, having access to healthcare, going to see a doctor. You know what I mean? And I know we were kind of discussing like little things can lead to something big.
Yes.
And when you ignore the little things, you just be like, oh, okay, it's nothing. And you just never know like now what all that type of stuff could lead to.
Yeah.
So it's just like we only get one body.
And only one life.
One life. And this is like your temple, so it's kind of like making sure that we're taking care of it. So I'll notice if I don't get enough sleep. I'll notice, and I love to sleep.
Yes, you do. Listen, she could actually like any time during the day. I have a hard time taking naps, but like it won't take you nothing.
We'll be in our meeting, and I'll be like, give me 15 minutes, and I'll just literally I'll need a power nap, and I'll literally put my head down on that conference room table. But then y'all be steady talking about business, and I'm like, excuse me, I'm trying to take a nap here in this meeting.
No, but I admire that. I admire people that can actually like take time out during the day and just say, you know what, I just need a moment, a woosah. Let me take a power nap. I've never been able to take a nap.
You can't do power naps?
I have to be literally like just plain exhausted for me to sleep because I don't know if something about the light coming in to the house or the fact that it's daylight, I just can't shut it down.
Yeah, my mom takes power naps like at red lights.
Oh yeah, that's not good.
I looked over one time, I was like, girl, are you asleep?
Right.
She was like, I was just resting my eyes. I was like, pull over. Like I got it from here.
Right. No,
but I do feel like
power naps is like
I'm telling you, 15 minutes can change your life.
Yeah. But doesn't it doesn't it when you wake up throw you off, make you feel like sluggish afterwards? Like, or does it make you feel
I'll pop up like, that's what I needed. Because sometimes it's like, I just need to.
Just close your eyes for
Close my eyes for a little bit. And it doesn't matter, like, I'll put my head down. I think the only thing that I'll be worried about, like when I wake up from a power nap, is like, am I going to have like a red mark on my face somewhere?
Right.
And then y'all will be talking about me. Because y'all will talk about me.
What about like vitamins? Are you big on vitamins? Do you use any kind of vitamins throughout your day?
It was so funny. I was thinking about, like on the drive-in today, my mind went to, I'm not a strong creature of like certain habits, like I think that's kind of even why I struggle sometimes with, like, I don't like a diet because I want something just to flow in my natural daily life. So it's hard for me just to do certain things out of habit, but I do have some vitamins. Like I know I'm supposed to be taking like a multivitamin, and they're in the cabinet.
You have them, just haven't been taken.
I possess them. I am the owner of vitamins.
Now I have to
but
say,
I gotta take them.
I'm the same way. Like it's not even that I don't like to take them or I don't want to take them, I'll have them in the household as well. I'm just not good at remembering to take them.
Yeah.
So, magnesium is something that my doctor recently said, I'm at that stage, y'all, and some of you women out there can relate, where things just kind of don't work the way they used to.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you're feeling joint pains, muscle pains. You get to that menopause stage and just things just kind of go out of whack. And I remember her saying, try to use some magnesium. So I have a couple of bottles at home, but do I take it consistently? That's the issue.
Yeah.
And just trying to remember, okay, in the morning time, I have a ritual that I do and incorporating it into my morning regimen. Otherwise, if I don't, then it doesn't happen. But, those things are crucial.
Yeah.
And, making sure that you're keeping on top of those things that you're not necessarily taking in or digesting in. Like if you know that you're not good with, dairy, right? You're not a big milk person or cheese person. Just making sure that you're getting those supplements somehow.
Right. And for me, it's so funny because the vitamins are sitting on my sink. Right. But then I'm thinking, okay, so do I need to put a bottle of water in my bathroom every day? Because I don't use the tap water.
See, and I'll do that just to force myself to do it, because I know if I say I'm going to go downstairs and get me a cup of water, I'm probably going to forget because, we're squirrels. On my way down the stairs, it's like something else happens and I'm like, oh, and I'm going in a different direction and I completely forget what I intended to do. So, I'll just take a little bit, put it in my hand and just pop the pill.
Maybe I can do that.
Yeah.
Maybe I can get over myself in the tap water.
Yeah. And if you're not a pill person, maybe doing a liquid form.
Yeah, and I don't mind doing, that's the thing. I don't mind doing the pill. It's just my mind goes into, wow, that cup looks tacky on my sink. I mean, it's like, or, you know what I mean? Like, do I need this cup? And then I'll throw the cup away. And then I'm like, God dog it, now I needed that for the pill.
Right.
So maybe if I just put it in my hand. Like, what did he say? Just how much for just one rib? Just put it, and maybe I'll, suck the water out.
Right.
I don't know. I'm going to try it, and I'm going to let you know.
Yeah, you have
I'm going to challenge myself.
Challenge yourself to do it.
Because I bet you I'll probably feel more, energized. I do have now I will tell you, my hair, I have a liquid collagen, and cause my hair to grow like crazy. Like that's kind of weird. Like all of this came in the last year and a half, so I was taking a liquid collagen, and then I stopped because I had to shave my legs more often. Oh, it's like no, it doesn't just specify hair on your head.
Right, it's like, everywhere.
It's like sheesh. Oh no, you gonna have some hair. So, so that's what kind of with that. So but that I have to leave in the refrigerator, so I had to remember to take that, kind of like on the way out the door. But that's kind of like where I am, is really kind of challenge myself with more water. And I will make sure I'll jump on top of at least my multivitamin. That's really kind of all the doctor kind of recommended for me to do is he was like, just get a good multivitamin.
Yeah, there's a stigma, that I hear with people saying a lot of the multivitamins that are out there on the shelves really are they don't really do anything.
Right.
So you just got to do your research and make sure that you're investing into something.
And then when you do research, where you run into issues is because people will force their narrative on the internet. So it's all that behind the scenes. It's kind of like, how do you dig down with
and find what's really out there that's good for you?
So would you kind of just wait for your doctor to recommend, or
some of
or do you
these
feel
doctors,
like doctors have a different narrative? It's kind of like a whole layer. Like you have to pull back layers of where is the truth.
And sometimes going the natural route is probably like the best.
How do you know it's
bet.
Natural? Because the bottle says.
Read the label. Try to find things in
the
its
natural
form. I mean, there's so many teas and things and
Yeah.
different herbs that are out there that you can use in lieu of vitamins.
Yeah.
So if you're not a pill person, look at some alternative options. But as long as you're conscious of the fact that you need to have those things on a daily basis, I think that that's important. Making sure you're intentional about how much you're drinking water, how much sleep you're getting. I struggle with sleep. But
Yeah, I
even though I
don't.
struggle sometimes at night, I can't, for the life of me, taking a nap isn't ideal. It's not something that I just automatically am able to do.
Yeah.
And I think it's gotten a little bit better, but I did start to take some sleeping aid to help me to stay asleep longer.
I took a melatonin. That's what it's
Yeah,
called.
the melatonin.
That thing kicked in like 2 days later.
Yeah.
I was like, what is happening? I just kind of kicked into slow motion. I was like, I had to throw that whole bottle away.
And, it's non-habit forming, right? So that's like the appeal. So I recently just went and I had a regular checkup. My doctor said, be careful with the melatonin because, there's some studies saying that it can cause memory loss. So I'm like,
See? See what I'm saying?
right? It's like you can't win for losing sometimes.
Right.
So, but there are some things that she recommended. Again, just alternative options. So maybe like working out at night so you get tired, reading a book, meditating.
Yeah.
Right. Those things can help you kind of get into settling your mind so that you can be at rest and be able to have a good night's sleep. So,
Yeah, I sleep well.
yeah, I know you sleep well. And then what do you do from a mental health perspective to keep you sharp, to keep you alert? Because that's one of the things as well, when you get to a certain age. Again, for us women, when we are going through that period, menopause, things become a little cloudy. You forget certain things. You're just not as alert. You're more tired.
Yeah. I think for me is I don't take on more information that like unnecessary information in my head. So just like I was talking to my sister today and we were kind of talking about a scenario and she was kind of asking me and I was like and she was like she's like I'm really having to pray about it, but it wasn't really her situation. So I said, what I don't want you to do is take on the weight of someone else's situation if you don't have to, right? And I said, unless you are counseling them, or if you have to go into prayer because you're personally having to lead them or guide them or advise them through a situation. So she said, no, absolutely, that's what she's doing. So I said, okay, cool. Because for me, I'm not going to take on anyone else's issues if I don't have to, because I don't want that break, that heaviness on me. Now, am I just that friend that's like, no, I'm not that person, but I'll help where I can help. I'll assist where I can assist. I'll advise where I can advise. But I try to make sure that if it's like, say for example, if it's something that's if petty or something, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not about to figure out how to get petty with you.
We were talking about this just yesterday.
Yeah.
And I used to be that person that would just like be sympathetic, empathetic, and, a good ear for someone to like just dump, and I've learned over the years, like you really have to protect your energy, right? And I call people that tend to always be in that mode or want to just kind of dump things on you, like energy vampires.
Yes,
That's what it is, because they'll suck the energy out of you. You'll be like in high spirits one moment, and then you have a conversation with them for 10 minutes, and all of a sudden you're like, why am I feeling like, because that person just dumped all of their negative.
All of that energy on you.
So it's important to be aware and kind of just put boundaries in place so that you don't allow those things to happen. And to your point, it's like, doesn't mean that I can't be a good ear or a good friend and listen. But yeah, that's one of my pet peeves. Like I don't necessarily have an issue providing counsel and giving people insight on things that they should be doing. But if I'm giving it to you and you don't adhere to it or you don't take heed, and then a month later you're coming back with the same, that shit drives me crazy.
Yeah.
Because now it's like, okay, you're kind of putting yourself in a position where you've got solutions, people have provided you with options, and here you are, you're kind of still in the same mode, and you've done nothing to change the situation.
Absolutely.
Right? So don't complain. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
But you've got to protect your.
You have to. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Like I told you, I was like, man, I had a headache for like a day or two. That means that's telling me that there's something that I have to deal with. Like there's something triggering, and I need to just kind of sit back, be quiet, and figure out what that is, and take the time. Because people, like you said, stress is like the silent killer.
It is.
And so, luckily, I don't carry, and I'm not a person that's. I'm almost like, F it. Well, it is what it is. Like, we going to get through it. But now I got to see, like, whenever I kind of go through, like, little spouts of a headache, then I was like, then there's something that I'm constantly thinking about that's bothering me or, putting pressure. So I think I have an idea what it is.
Oh, you do?
What I told you, I said, remind me not to ever do this again.
Yeah.
So...
yeah.
So it's nothing like personal. It's just, it's just kind of, it's going through a planning process and different things like that.
Yeah.
When you're birthing something, it's kind of.
It comes with a certain level of stress. Yeah,
it does.
Absolutely.
It does.
And I think it's important to know yourself.
Yeah.
Like sometimes when you're talking to other people, you might give a certain level of like, you're portraying yourself to be a different person than you really are. But when you're home and you're in your bedroom and it's just you and yourself, like, you need to be honest. Like, if I'm not this type of person, then I'm just not this type of person.
Right.
Right. If I'm a person that don't like water, then just admit I don't like water. But knowing that it's still important for me to make sure that I'm keeping myself healthy. I've got to be intentional about it.
Yeah.
If I'm not the person that likes to do vitamins, if I don't like to like, you've got to know yourself. If you're not a morning person, right? And you want to start being a little bit more active, and the morning time just isn't the ideal time frame to do that, then making sure that you set the time frame later in the day, right?
Yeah.
Just know yourself and know what you're willing to do and not willing to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right. Okay, so let's shift. Let's get into Pursuitopoly.
Yes.
Are you ready? So
Eyes ready. Eyes ready.
let's get ready. So everybody have their glass of wine as we get ready to
Yes. Cheers.
play the game.
Okay, so I think it's your turn.
Okay,
And- Oh,
we're not. You gonna cut right place? Yeah, right.
yeah,
All right.
okay.
Okay. So is it my turn?
It's your turn.
All right.
So you were on Spiritual
Oasis
last
before.
time. Yeah.
I had to slide the board to me to get to the dice. All right.
10.
So that would put me at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Influence Avenue.
Let's see. So for Influence Avenue, this would be the avenue of. I'm like you last time.
Well, so it's either someone who has had a good influence on you, or
Yes.
being influential to other people.
Okay, that's what.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah.
good. Okay, so I would say, I want to mention somebody that's had a good influence on me. One of my aunts she's retired now, but she was a former upper executive with Southwestern Bell Corporation. So when I was growing up, it was crazy because her and my mom both worked in the same kind of level, on the same level in the company. So they were still kind of mid-level upper management.
Okay.
So she went and got her law degree. And it took her like 6 years to get her law degree. And to this day, she's never practiced. Now, I was younger, so I was like a teenager when this happened. Never practiced law a day in her life. But that one degree catapulted her to report to the White House. I mean, you know what I mean? So it took her from the upper mid-level. And I'm saying like in the 80s and 90s, making six figures, right? To that one opportunity for her to be disciplined to get a law degree catapulted her to multiple six figures.
Okay.
Like halfway to, or a little over halfway to seven figures. You know what I mean? So I would say she was very influential on my life because I watched the discipline for her to go from here to here. And just be able to see the doors that opened for her. So she's been very influential in my life, just to kind of see what she had to go through. Now, one thing that I did watch in corporate America was her husband was in the same company, right? And I did see how that could have put a long-lasting tear in their relationship, because I feel like, you know, a man could almost feel like they're cheating, you know, in the process of, like, my wife is making like 600,000-700,000 and I'm still here at 120,000, you know. So I kind of watched her be able to still soften herself as a wife.
Yes, that's hard to juggle when you're the boss, you know,
Yeah.
in business. But
I mean,
then at home, you've got to like try to.
I go to her house and her next door neighbor was Colin Powell, and you know, I'm just like, sweet Jesus, you know. And then I had to watch, you know, my uncle stand strong. Like, yep, that's my wife. But not, no, but then you see in corporate America, like they will pull harder for the black woman to excel than the black man to excel, which causes a lot of strife in marriages. So I will say she was probably one of the greatest influential women that I have direct access to see how she's scaled in such a powerhouse position, but then still soften enough as a wife to follow her husband.
That's an awesome
Yeah.
like example. And I think this particular placement here is really one of reflection to kind of like ponder those that are in your life that are providing or have provided, you know, some level of influence, and then in turn, like how you can position yourself to be of influence to other in a positive way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's where people really have to be careful, is because you can be influential in a positive way and influential in a damaging way. And you have to choose which way you want to be. Like, I pray that, you know, my goal is to live a life to where when I leave this earth, that it'll be a full celebration. Like, it'll be people saying, well, Natalie was this to me, this to me, this to me. But all of those things have I want them to be positive. Never wanted to be like, well, nah, but she still owe me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
They owe me $50.
But I remember,
She never paid me.
she never paid me. You know, so so that influence can go one or two ways. It's not always just good. Even when you look at social media, your influencers, and you have to really be careful what influencers you follow. Like, one thing that's disheartening to me is I see a lot of our, you know, in our community, influencers that are like showing so much money and showing like you can have this and showing you can have that. But then once again, it's kind of like the other races that are multi-millionaires, they don't have to be braggadocious about what they have. And I think that's what pisses me off the most about us, is like, let me show you how much money I have for you to respect me or for you to listen to me.
Right.
It's like, no, just guide me to where I need to be. Give me good information. Be valuable to me. Give me something of value. But I don't need you to wave all of this like Maserati and Bentley and that's just so technical.
I know. I think that's the the world. Yeah, I know. That's the world we live in. That's the lifestyle that a lot of people attain to become. They see that and they, in their minds are like, that's where I want to be. And so a lot of these influencers out there feel like they've got to show and tell.
Yeah.
So let me show what I've got. But and a lot of times what they're showing isn't even real. Hello.
Say it louder for the people in the back.
Right. The cars that you're seeing could be rented for the day.
Yeah.
Right. The houses that you're seeing could be a friend, or they just decided to do a camera roll on that particular video. Like, you just don't know, and you can't really, a lot of these things that you're seeing out there on social media, you just got to be very careful that what you're seeing is actually real, and understand that a lot of it isn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's because the biggest thing is, like, I don't want to be the person that shows all of this stuff and then I lose my social media following, or I lose all of, or I lose my streams of income, and then all of it can be yanked from me. It's like, be a person of character that's like, I can build it, maintain it, and sustain it. Sustaining is the hardest thing to do. It's like, how can you keep it in the midst of? So I just hope that a lot of them just kind of know, like, let me prepare myself for the long haul, because I'd hate to see you in like 5 years and you're like having to sell your your property or in your cars, or turn your leases back.
Oh, that's good.
So that's mine. But here you go.
Okay.
There you go.
6, 2, 3, 4, 5. Balance Ambitions Avenue.
Oh yeah, I need to hear this because you're one of the most ambitious
I am
people I know.
And I try, so my issue is sometimes I try to take on too much. I take on too much, and I have a hard time balancing, which is what this whole podcast is about, right? Balancing everything in your life, your family, your spouse, your spirituality, your health. So this is I think appropriate for me. And I'll give an example that I just where I recently recognized that, okay, I went a little bit too far. So I think we've talked about me being a real estate investor, and, I'm a newer investor in the space. Still kind of finding my way and navigating the real estate investing world. But I took on a few projects within a very short time frame. And the last project that I took on, I should have just said, you know what, let me hold off for right now until I get the situation kind of, in a good place, and then move on to the next thing. And my husband said to me, babe, this is a lot. Don't you think you should just like not move forward with obtaining this property, because you still got these other things that, you're working on? And in my mind, I'm like, no, I can do it. Like I can juggle. Right. And in essence, like what I see is I'm almost like kind of playing out what I envision is going to happen before it happens. Right. And sometimes you think one thing and then reality is something completely different. But I always feel so strongly that it's going to work out the way I expect it to, that nobody can tell me shit. And that's really kind of like how I roll. Like, nobody can tell me shit. This is going to work out the way I expect it, the way I think, the way I'm envisioning it. So I'm going to move forward.
Right.
So long story short, we turn around and it's like, oh. So one of the other properties that I'm working on isn't quite finished when it should have been finished. So it was a renovation project that we're working on. And with renovations, the whole goal is to turn that sucker around fast and get it on the market, right? So ideally, you want to have that renovation project completed within a few months. Well, it's now for me like 5 months, and it's not finished yet for a number of reasons. Ended up with another project, if you will, that just kind of came out of left field, and I'm dealing with that. And so all of these things require funding,
Yeah.
right? And having liquidity in order to be able to complete certain elements of the project. So anyway, I had to take a step back and realize, okay, I took on a little bit more than I can chew. So let me figure out how to really disentangle myself from this last project here. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. So for me, it's really getting to the point where I can recognize ahead of time and not waiting until after I've already jumped into the pond. Like, let me stand on the side and just kind of look at the pond and let me study it a little bit. Let me walk around the edge and just kind of ponder the situation before just diving in.
Right.
And, you know, being ambition, I think, is good in a sense that, you know, there's always things that you are striving to do and accomplish, but you've got to know when enough is enough, and you've got to understand when you're actually pushing the needle and it's going to put you in a negative situation. So for me, that was a huge learning opportunity. And coming to the realization that I'm only one person. I don't look at losses like, oh my God, it's the end of the world. How could this happen? Like, it's a lesson for me. I'm just taking that as a big lesson. And just learning how to better balance what I've got going on so that I don't put myself in that position again. So I think what it's teaching me, what it has taught me, even at my age, because we all can learn. You know, you're never too old to learn something new and to, you know, get better clarity about how to handle certain things, is to really just take pause sometimes and really think things through before just pushing ahead. Like, ambition is good, but you always want to make sure that you're proceeding with caution.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I totally agree. And I feel like I have that too. Like, I can be very ambitious and then lose a grip here and there. So it's kind of, we all want to do this, and this, but we have to find that time just to stop and focus and see it through. I even noticed, like, when I opened up my phone and I was reading one thing, something that popped up like on social media. So I clicked to learn more. And then it was just something that made me go over to a whole nother website. Then while I'm on that website, I jumped to a whole nother way. And I'm like, now this is just...
That's it. That's the epitome.
Yeah. It's like I squirreled like all through there.
Yes.
So I would say it's always beautiful for our women to be ambitious, but it's making sure that we see through what we start. So that was my little take on yours.
Yes. It's all a learning experience, and that's why we're on Earth. I think every opportunity, every challenge, every roadblock is giving you the opportunity to figure out how to maneuver. And even when you make decisions that turn out to not be in your best interest, it's still a lesson. It's not something that, you know what I mean, that can be a blight against you, because we're all here to learn. We're all here to experience what life is about, good, bad, or indifferent.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, it's time to go.
Yes.
Get back to these children. So you ready for one for the journey?
Yes. So one for the journey. I would say, just because we talked about balancing ambition for me with my card, is sometimes you just need to sleep on it. Like, you can have a moment where you think you're going to conquer the world, and you sleep on it and wake up in the morning and realize, no, that wasn't that wasn't the right, that's not the right move to make right now. So just pause sometimes and reflect on what it is that you're trying to accomplish, and try to be very specific and intentional and focus on what your overall goal is. And whatever it is that you're looking to do, make sure it aligns with it so that you're not too scattered. That's one for the journey.
All right. So my one for the future would be for influence. Have seek out the woman that you want to become.
Mm-hmm.
So if there are women that are influential in your life, like that are real women, real persons to become your mentor or your coach, seek those out and then be that person. So let that, so find the right person to influence you, and then you influence others the right way. So that would be my one for the future, is be the woman that you want to be.
Awesome. All right, guys. So I think we're at the end of our episode for tonight. Don't forget to follow, subscribe, and share, right, on all of our social medias.
So you have Facebook and Instagram, and YouTube is at the GameChangher Podcast, and TikTok is the GameChangher Pod, and now GameChangerPodcast.com is up and going, so that you can go on there and get you some merch. So, all right, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
We'll see you next week.